my lord!
This is getting out of hand.
I don't have money to do it. 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 I don't have money to do it.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill.
What's remarkable about this is that I did not even scratch the surface of streaming services. If you can watch it, it can be streamed. If it can be streamed, then you can pay for it. It is absolutely insane that these companies will literally create an entire streaming platform just to push a product that already exists, just to get money that people have already been paying. But the thing is, it wasn't always like this. There was a simpler time. There was a time where streaming actually was a viable option, and even, crazy as it may sound, better than paying for cable.
Oh, hello. I'd like to tell you about Netflix. It's an amazing service that lets you watch unlimited movies and TV episodes instantly. You watch Netflix on your PC or on your TV through a game console or other devices connected to the internet.
Wow, that's fast.
Best of all, Netflix is only $8 a month. But don't listen to a beaver. Take it from the fish.
It's true. Start your free trial today.
Even if it's in the past, at least it existed at some point. A long time ago, Netflix was pretty much the only streaming service, and over time, it slowly became more and more popular, and as it got more subscribers, it got more money, and it was able to reinvest in the business. Netflix went from having no-name TV shows and niche movies to having some decent shows like The Office, and then eventually later on, Marvel shows, and they then started getting more major movies and things that would come out on DVD, so at that point, there was really no reason to even go to Blockbuster. Wow, Blockbuster, you must be really old to remember that. Let's not even go down that route. But it now became a point where Netflix was pretty cool and pretty worthwhile, and for a low price of not what it is now, it actually seemed pretty decent. But the problem with something that's successful is that a lot of copycats come up, and when it comes to ownership rights of these shows, oh boy, did companies display the power of copyright and the power of ownership when it comes to that. So Netflix became popular, it grew and grew, and then all of a sudden, companies seeing that people were not subscribing to Comcast anymore or not subscribing to cable in general, they then realized that we need a streaming service too. So what ended up happening is that Hulu kind of emerged. Hulu then started having more Fox shows. It actually is currently being owned and majority shared by Disney, who ended up buying Fox, and it became eventually an offshoot of Disney Plus. Disney Plus, if you could guess, is now a streaming service of majority Disney shows. And the reason why this is important is not just the fact that it's another streaming service, but think to yourself, why would you go watch Disney Plus if you have Marvel shows on Netflix? Good question. Disney answered this question by removing Marvel shows from Netflix and placing them on Disney Plus. So now you need to subscribe to Disney Plus if you want to watch those shows, and if Netflix actually has interesting content or what became very popular through Netflix, original content, you need to keep it. Then what ends up happening is that you then get an even bigger model where not only do you have Netflix, Hulu, you now have Disney Plus, you also have ESPN Plus for sports. Then at the same time, a company emerges called Peacock. Peacock is a CBS company, and it comes out and at first is free. And what CBS does is pretty genius. They say, hey, we're actually free for the beginning. And what they do, similar to Disney, is that they rip The Office off the Netflix. So now you're forced to buy CBS streaming service. It's paid for now if you want to watch shows like The Office or other CBS shows. So now you have this scenario where all these different streaming services are carving content out and placing it on their own respective streaming service. Now, there is a lot lot more streaming services, and there's a lot of copyright and a lot of sharing when it comes to movies and TV shows. But what ends up becoming very important is actually things that are original, things that are actually created by the company themselves. For example, if you look at a show like Stranger Things for Netflix, that was extremely huge because it was an original IP. It was something that Netflix made that was actually very original and very cool. But then you have something like Disney Plus that makes a Star Wars spin-off called The Mandalorian, and now you have a situation where it seems like these streaming services are pretty decent. But the problem is, every year a new streaming service emerges. Every year a streaming service takes a part of its IP and puts it on its platform. And every year, coincidentally, it seems like streaming services get more and more expensive. They don't want you to share your password with anyone. They don't want you to actually watch it if you're not in the same house. They want you to pay prices that are similar to cable. And in the cases of streaming/TV, such as YouTube TV, they'll flat out just tell you, give us $70 as if this is cable. And it gets to the point in time where it's actually disgusting and nasty that so many streaming services popped up like a cancer, a tumor that appears to suck off the life of something that was decent, which was streaming. And I have not even talked about the worst offender for this case, because it's a beast in it of itself, which is sports streaming, where you have a scenario where if you want to watch English football, you're going to have to go to Peacock. If you want to watch German Bundesliga or La Liga, you're going to have to go to ESPN. If for some reason you are interested in Serie A, you're going to have to go to Paramount Plus. Yes, Paramount has their own streaming service, and all of these streaming services cost so much money, to the point that if you wanted to watch everything, it ends up costing like 8, 9, 10 per streaming service, that you end up having a bill of like $180 at the end of the month if you're that insane. And the thing that's so funny about the streaming services is that they're not even that good. Like, you just want to watch the show. They don't really offer you anything other than the show, other than the convenience. And the funny thing is that streaming services' biggest competitor is not other streaming services. It's piracy. Because for a long time, companies that created their own streaming service treated customers on the streaming service like second-class citizens. If you look at an example like HBO Go used to have Game of Thrones. What they did that was genius in their part is that they thought, hey, we'll put Game of Thrones on the TV as soon as it's ready, 9 p.m. Sunday, and then for streaming, we'll roll it out later. Because people did not want to subscribe to HBO through their cable provider, they would just pirate it. And then eventually HBO got wise to it and started releasing it on their streaming platform. But it kind of goes to show like how greedy these streaming platforms are, that not only are you paying them, but they want you to jump through hoops and other things in order to buy a better package through your cable provider, where everything's bundled, everything's jumbled, and it's just nasty. It's really disgusting. And it's at the point in time now where I literally don't even bother using most streaming services, because other than the bill at the end of the month, it's a headache to even find out where content is streamed. If you want to watch a show, you got to go online, you got to figure out, is it on Netflix, Amazon, is it on Paramount, is it on Apple TV, you got to play a guessing game. Meanwhile, if I go to a certain website that has a certain URL, I can download what I want, I load it to my library, I watch it in Plex, and I enjoy the show. It's simple, it's easy, and the quality is actually 4K, which is pretty great on my 480p TV I got from Pathmark. So at the end of the day, I think streaming services really need to realize that in the beginning it made sense, but now that there's more streaming services than there are actual cable providers, people are getting sick of this, and there's only going to be so much people are going to take before they either completely give up or go the way of the pirate.
At the end of every single video, make sure you ask people to rate and subscribe to your content. It makes them feel like they're involved even though they're really not. And most importantly, make sure they comment on every single video. If you have to, disguise it. You know, call it something like the question of the day. And really make them think you're gonna really read it when you really don't have to. Ha ha ha!